morning everyone. Welcome back to the session, today's session called Biotechnology and its application. So last class we have studied about the genetically engineered insulin. So what is this? So it is an, as I told, it is an American company called Eli Lilly. So which is a American company. They have prepared a human insulin for the first time. So using the biotechnology method. So as I said, all those days people were using the insulin which is extracted from the pancreas of slaughtered cattle and the pig, which has a side effect on the body of a human being, right? Now this human insulin, which is developed through this biotechnology by a company called Eli Lilly, it is an, as I told, it is an American company which is produced the human insulin for the first time using the biotechnology. Now let us understand how exactly this and how it is this synthesized. So the synthesis of human insulin through the genetic engineering, right? So how this human insulin has been synthesized through a genetic engineering. So human insulin, which is consist of two short polypeptide chain A and B. So they consist of A and B, two short polypeptide chain that are linked together by the disulfide bridges. So you can see here in the picture that, so they have a peptide and the B peptide. They are the two short two short chains, that is two short polypeptide chain, and that are, you can see, these are linked by what? Disulfide. So disulfide bridges. So that is how, that is the human insulin consists of two short two short polypeptide chains, that is A peptide and B peptide, and that are linked by, which are linked by the two disulfide bridges, right? So as I told, you can see here in this picture, which will show the synthesis of human insulin through the genetic engineering. How the synthesis of human insulin has been done through a genetic engineering, right? So you can see here that is a proinsulin. So you see this two short polypeptide chain, A peptide and the B peptide chain, so which are linked with the what? Disulfide bridges. So usually in mammals, including the humans, the insulin is synthesized as a prohormone which will contain an extra stretch called as C-peptide. You can see here, you can have there is an extra stretch which is called as what? C-peptide, right? So what is this? It is a human insulin which consists of two short polypeptide chain A and B that been linked together by the disulfide bonds. So it has been linked with the disulfide bond, usually in mammals, including the human insulin, which is synthesized as a prohormone which contain an extra stretch called as C-peptide, right? So as I told, here you can see that free C-peptide, it is an extra stretch which is called as C-peptide. So this C-peptide is removed during the maturation of what? Insulin. So it is been removed during the maturation of the insulin. So human insulin consists of what? It consists of short A and B polypeptide chain that are linked by together with the two disulfide bridges. And usually in mammals, including the human beings, the insulin has been synthesized as a prohormone which contain an extra stretch called as C-peptide. So this C-peptide is removed during the maturation of what? Insulin. And moving on to the next is, what are the steps that has been involved in the human insulin synthesis? So now moving on to the, what are the steps that has been involved in the human insulin synthesis, right? So as I told, so the two genes A and B which will control the synthesis of A and B chains are prepared. So here you can see here this A peptide and the B peptide, right, chains. So these two genes are inserted into two different plasmids of E. coli which will produce the insulin chains. So see here how this how the technology in the, it is being used with the help of the plasmids. So which is going to act as we know that the plasmid which is going to act as a vector. Here the plasmid is E. coli bacteria. So these two genes are inserted into two different plasmids of the E. coli which will produce what? Insulin chains. And the bacteria with the A gene will produce as the A gene, right? So the bacteria with the A gene produces the A chain, and bacteria with the B gene which will produce as the B chain. So the A and B chains are extracted and they can be combined by creating a disulfide bridges. So they can be creating with the disulfide bonds to produce the active insulin. So this is how the mechanism has been implemented to the synthesis of the human insulin. So the two genes A and B which will control the synthesis of A and B chains are prepared. So these two genes are inserted into the two different plasmids of E. coli which will produce what? Insulin chains. So bacteria with the A gene will produce as the A chain, and the bacteria with the B gene which will produce as the B chain. The A and B chains are extracted and combined by creating what? Disulfide bonds to produce the active insulin. So this is all about the synthesis of human insulin through the genetic engineering, right? See how it is useful to the mankind. So that is how the synthesis of human insulin has been done through a genetic engineering. Now moving on to the next very important concept, that is gene therapy. So as we all already discussed what do you mean by gene therapy, right? So the very word which will tells you a gene therapy. Therapy means what? Treatment. Gene means it is a DNA or the genetic material. So treating with the gene itself is the best way to avoid or to overcome any genetic disorder. So gene therapy is what? Is the replacement of any defective gene by a normal healthy gene. For example, as we have already discussed, as we have already said that, suppose if a person's pancreas is not at all working properly, what we will do? We can replace the cells of the pancreas with a healthy person, and it has been introduced to the defective person, right? So that is how the function will be going to take place. So this particular process what we call as what? Gene treatment or the gene therapy. So that the pancreas start functioning with the help of those normal cells, that is what we call as gene therapy. So it is a replacement of the defective gene. We are going to replace the defective gene. So we are going to replacement the defective gene by the normal healthy gene, that is called as gene therapy, right? So, and this is very important term for the examination point of view, where they are going to ask for 1 marks, right? What is this gene therapy? So gene therapy is a replacement of defective gene by a normal healthy gene, right? So gene therapy is an attempt to cure the hereditary disorder. As we know, many people are suffering from a hereditary diseases. So what are the hereditary diseases? The diseases which are transmitted from one generation to the another generation, that is from parents to the offspring. So that is parents to the children's. So there are many hereditary diseases, and you know hereditary diseases are nothing but the congenital diseases. Sometimes it is very difficult to cure these congenital diseases. So in that case, only technology, that is coming to rescue of such people who are suffering from the hereditary diseases through gene therapy, right? So the one such is the ADA deficiency. So what is this ADA deficiency? ADA means adenosine deaminase. So adenosine deaminase deficiency is a genetic disorder that is being treated using a gene therapy. So ADA deficiency or the ADA diseases, it is the adenosine deaminase deficiency. And now how this ADA deficiency has been caused? What is the cause of this ADA deficiency? It is caused due to the deletion of the gene for adenosine deaminase. So what is the reason or what is the cause for this ADA deficiency? It is a cause due to the deletion of a gene for adenosine deaminase. So that is how it is caused. Then how it is treated or the methodology of treating ADA deficiency. So there are three methods that are being used to cure this ADA deficiency. The first one is bone marrow transplantation. So first one is the bone marrow, that is a transplantation. So the bone marrow plays a very great role in the body. So where it is the one which is going to produce the what? RBC cell. So the bone marrow transplantation is quite one such method to overcome the ADA deficiency diseases. The second one is, that is ADA enzyme replacement therapy. Second one is ADA enzyme replacement therapy. So it is a second method to overcome this ADA deficiency called as ADA enzyme replacement therapy. Third one is embryonic gene therapy. So third one is the embryonic gene therapy. So that is also one method of treating a ADA deficiency. So what are the three methods of to overcome this ADA deficiency? One is the bone marrow transplantation, the second one is the ADA enzyme replacement therapy, and third one is the embryonic gene therapy. So retrovirus, as we know that retrovirus is a vector which has been used for the introduction of for introducing the ADA gene into the lymphocytes. So lymphocytes are nothing but the defending cells of our body. That is from any diseases which will caused by the organism, they will defend themselves from the disease causing organism. So that is how the retrovirus has been introduced to this ADA gene into a lymphocytes. Next is how this gene therapy is being used. The first clinical gene therapy was given in 1990 on a 4-year-old girl with the ADA deficiency. So, the first clinically gene therapy was given in 1990 on the 4-year-old girl, that is ADA deficiency. So, that is how the first gene therapy has been used. And what are the steps that has been involved in this gene therapy? The first step is lymphocytes from the blood of the patients are grown in a culture, that is outside, that has been grown in a culture outside the body. A functional AD, a cDNA, cDNA means it is a complementary DNA, is then introduced into these lymphocytes which are subsequently returned to the patient. And the first step is the lymphocytes from the blood of the patient are grown in a culture outside the body. A functional aDNA complementary DNA is then introduced into these lymphocytes which are subsequently returned to the patient. Next, these cells are not immortal. So the patient requires periodic infusion. Such genetically engineered lymphocytes, here you can see in the diagram that I have given in your notes, one diagram has been given. So in that diagram there will be a periodic infusion. So such genetically engineered lymphocytes has been introduced. So the third is, if the gene is isolated from the marrow cells early, the embryonic shows it could be a permanent cure. So that is what the steps which is involved in the gene therapy. That is, lymphocytes from the blood of the patients are grown in a culture medium, that is outside the body. A functional ADA, that is adenosine deamine with a or complementary DNA has been introduced into these lymphocytes, which are subsequently returned to the patient. So these cells are not be immortal. So the patient requires the periodic infusion such genetically engineered lymphocytes. If these genes are isolated from the marrow cells early embryonic stages, it could be a permanent cure. So these are the steps which are involved in the gene therapy. Right? From the embryonic stage it has to be taken, and it could be a permanent cure for those things. So gene therapy is of two types. One is somatic gene therapy and another one is the germline gene therapy. So where somatic gene therapy will done on the somatic cells, that is what we call as somatic gene therapy. So the germline gene therapy, that is the gene therapy is done on the germline or the sex cells. So that is of two types of the gene therapy. So now moving on to the further important application of biotechnology. So the application of biotechnology is very important at this period of that is this point of time. A new technique that have been implemented to produce and to come out with a better vaccine that to fight against this deadly coronavirus pandemic. So let us move on to the very important aspects of this biotechnology, that is molecular diagnosis. Molecular diagnosis, like if you stick on to the old conventional method, it will be not, that is it is not be feasible curing the many diseases. So we need to come out with the modern techniques or the modern technology and the scientific methodology to cure the disease. So one such is called as what? Molecular diagnosis. So diagnosis of a disease is very important for a proper treatment or a proper medication. So in that point of view, a very important thing is coming out with the proper diagnosis, that is diagnostic method. Now let us understand what are the conventional method of this molecular diagnosis. So that has been done to diagnose the diseases. So as you know, nowadays many people are feeling that is they are facing kinds of diseases, many kinds of diseases. It may be cancer, it may be a AIDS, or it may be a SCID. So how are we going to diagnose such dreadful diseases? So there are many diseases has been faced nowadays in the people. So by applying the modern techniques or the modern methods, also we are coming out with the diagnostic method. So what are the three very important conventional method or a good old methods that has been implemented to identify or the diagnose the disease? The first one is the serum method. That is serum analysis. Second one is urine analysis. So these two were that is the blood analysis and the urine analysis. So these are the two good old methods that has been implemented to identify the diagnosis or the diseases. So, but as we know that these two are conventional methods that are implemented for diagnosis. But what is the disadvantage of this conventional method of molecular diagnosis? Because early detection is not possible. For example, right now if you are go for the corona test, immediately they won't so they don't get don't do that test immediately. So they take some time to come out with the result. So that is again a drawback. So it may spread for the further. So till we get back the results, right? So whether the person is corona positive or corona negative, in that case the detection should be very fast. So the result of the test should be come out fast, that proper treatment can be done, can be given earlier. So that is the one great and disadvantages of conventional method of the molecular diagnosis. So what we need? So we need to come out with the modern techniques or the modern methodology of diagnosing the diseases. In next class, we will discuss what are the modern techniques that has been used to detect this disease through the genetic engineering. Like for example, AIDS, ELISA, like that, and we will going to discuss in the next class.